My neighbors in Delray, 8 out on Federal Highway. There's a waitress at Denny's who remembers. They had loud conversations, hit on all the waitresses, and they weren't very good tippers. And my neighbors in Delray drove to Miami one day and worked out on a flight simulator. Then my neighbors in Delray stole a plane bound for LA and flew it into the World Trade Center. My neighbors in Delray worked out at the gym every day, rented a condo, studied to be pilots. They had rental cars and cell phones, used the library computers in town, struck out with the girls in local night spots. But my neighbors in Delray hated the American way and lived only to die for some heaven where virgins trained to serve and Allah is observed, gratefully awaiting to reward them. Love thy neighbor, the Bible says. God is great, the prophets pray. Wouldn't I love to know what God will say to my neighbors in Delray? My neighbors in Delray came from countries far away and lived here freely among us. They studied all the ways of the good old USA, thinking up ways to destroy us. But my neighbors in Delray got down on their knees to pray for the strength to leave life behind them. So my neighbors in Delray wouldn't be around to pay the price for all their victims. Love thy neighbor, the Bible says. God is great, the prophets pray. Wouldn't you love to know what God will say to my neighbors in Delray? My neighbors in Delray, well, I really couldn't say I would even recognize them. Walking through the mall or anywhere at all, I know my other neighbors all despise them. Somewhere far away, they don't care what the neighbors say.
Everybody okay?
And they would only criticize me. But if my neighbors in Delray are in paradise today, it would very much surprise me. Love thy neighbor, the Bible says. God is great, the prophets pray. Don't you really know what God will say to my neighbors in Delray? Thank you. I was at a folk festival this past weekend, had to play that song a bunch of times. It is my song, yes. Yeah, I live in Delray Beach. As did those guys.